What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here, just chilling, barely made it here. Just had dinner with my mom. It was it's her birthday tomorrow. My wife's birthday was Monday, so sandwiched in between. Went ahead and got some dinner. I got to fly out to South Carolina tomorrow morning. My flight leaves at 6 a.m., so we're going to see if I make this flight, man. There is snow in Florida, not my part of town, but where my man Greg lives in Pensacola and my brother-in-law live. They are getting hit with a lot of snow. Got some friends in Louisiana. It looks like a blizzard going on in there. So it's been absolutely crazy weather. So we'll see if I get out on time. I'm telling you, part of me probably I'm not going to be so upset if I don't, but I'm running solo. Uncle Cheech is going to be making an appearance, but I'm going to be running solo. So hopefully you guys can hear me good. Give me a thumbs up if you can, everything. And of course, make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that share, all that other kind of good stuff, man. I seem a little, am I glitching? You guys, do I seem a little glitchy here, or is everything going good? Everything going good. Well, perfect, man. It's been a crazy, few weeks for the Cowboys. And I see my man Carl's in there, man. Congrats to Philly. I'm not going to get into a lot of the championship game coming up between Washington and Philly. And obviously you got Buffalo. We're going to, and Kansas City. We're going to talk about it. Uncle Cheech will be coming on. So we'll talk a little bit about it. But tomorrow's show, we got Terrence Parsons. We got Terrence Parsons coming in the cave. We're going to be breaking down the AFC NFC Championship game with Kelly K9 and Terrence Parsons. We're going to talk a lot about the Cowboys as well. Get his thoughts on it, man. He's got an ear to what's going on in Cowboys Nation as well. He does some shows. He's very active in social media. So definitely you guys check that show out tomorrow. But of course, make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and share. And again, hopefully all you guys are doing well. But let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys and this coaching search. And now you're getting reports, and we kind of talked about it on Sunday. You saw Brian Schottenheimer has become the hot coach, the dark horse to get the job. Appreciate it, Edgar, man. Appreciate all the love from all you guys. And we're going to have an interactive chat. Once I get through this stuff, we're going to be talking. I want to get your guys' opinion. But Brian Schottenheimer is now emerging as a dark horse. And I mean, some close to the Cowboys feel he's going to end up getting the job. And really, how do you guys feel about it? The familiarity that Jerry Jones just wants to stick with. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, a former Cowboy, and we were just exchanging some texts back and forth at dinner, and he said he kind of confirmed what a lot of us believe and just in his thoughts is, Jerry Jones is he's digging his heels in, and he did not want to part ways. He wanted to re-sign Mike McCarthy, but obviously with some of the contract things that maybe they didn't agree on, but more importantly, throwing Jason Witten into the mix as being kind of that heir apparent. I just don't think Mike McCarthy was digging it. And I applaud him for walking away. Because the Cowboys, I mean, it is a prestigious job, as crazy as it sounds, but it does get you a lot of notoriety. And I know, Carl, I know you guys definitely want Jerry Jones to be around, and Jerry Jones is going to get someone he can control. And to me, this is just one of those moves where Mike McCarthy leaves. I don't think they had any backup plan. And I mean, it's pretty evident by the way you see this coaching search going. It's been some people coming in that, is it a check the box? And I sure hope it's not. I hope there's some sincerity into talking to these other coaches. But I just don't think they know what they want to do. I just don't think they want to know what they want to do. And, you had Ben Johnson, who I don't know if he's going to be a good coach. I mean, none of us really know. How many coordinators, fail that were supposedly, the gurus and experts. I mean, I wasn't impressed with his play calling in that last game for sure. But at least give Chicago credit. They're going to take a chance. But this is the guy that most people have touted, and the Cowboys didn't even bother to interview him. Not even a conversation, not a cup of coffee, not a phone call, not anything. So what does that tell you? And I mean, I hate to say it, Vince, it's a clown circus. I mean, it is. It is. It's a clown show. It's a clown everything. And I just, as a Cowboys fan, I mentioned it to him. This is probably the lowest point as a Cowboys fan. I've lived through some dark days of the Cowboys. I mean, them 80 years, those 80s were tough. And I was just a little kid. So I didn't know no different. And then I got into the 90s, when I'm graduating high school. And then I got a taste of these championships, and you think it's going to last forever, and it feels so good, and everything is going so well, and then it just gets ripped from under you by ego, by Jerry wanting to get, the credit. Just didn't feel he got enough of the credit. And then it's just been a downward spiral since. And, hey, as Cowboy fans, it's unfortunate. We carry the brunt of it. We carry the brunt of it because we're the ones, we love the star. We love everything it means with America's team and being Cowboys Nation. And we're the ones who have to feel the pain of it, not Jerry. Jerry doesn't have to feel the pain of it. It's us. And that's the hard part as fans, because you look at it and you say, well, geez, God, you guys are, you should be appreciative. You've gotten, you have 5 Super Bowls, and, Mike Tag, man, you've seen 3. You remember 3. That's a great thing. And Detroit has gotten their hearts ripped out multiple times. They don't have a Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills been to the Super Bowl 4 times, lost 4 in a row. You could say the Eagles, they win 1 Super Bowl out of 2, and potentially could be 1 and 3 in Super Bowls. You should be happy. You shouldn't be so selfish. But it's, these teams that I've mentioned, they are putting the effort in to win. As much as I don't like Philly, I don't like Washington, you have to applaud what they do. And when you see Dan Quinn going to the NFC Championship, it's no slight. I don't look at it as a slight on the Cowboys, because I was fine with Dan Quinn moving on. But what changed with Washington? It's the culture change. These aren't bad coaches that are in Dallas. It's a bad culture that's created that these coaches have to be under. I mean, that is the ultimate problem with the Cowboys. And that's why I don't want Kellen Moore, because that's why I don't want Schottenheimer, because it's the same old thing. This team needs a shot in the arm, but Jerry's not going to allow that to happen. He don't want that to happen. I'm going to have to put my headphones on because Uncle Cheech is going to be coming in, but he doesn't want that to happen. I mean, Jerry Jones does not want that to happen. He wants to control everything. The ego of Jerry has become bigger than the organization. And that's the scary part. And that's where, I tell my son, it's like, hey man, Dad, I've never seen anything. I was like, well, I mean, I don't think you're going to see anything for a while the way it goes. So it's going to be tough. And maybe Kellen will. I'm not going to get deep in the game because we're going to spend a lot of time on it tomorrow. I think Philly's going to win. I think they're going to represent the NFC. I just don't think the NFC is good enough against the AFC. I've watched the games. Now, any given Sunday, anything can happen. So, dude, if you get in the Super Bowl, you got a shot. You got a shot. And that's all you can ask for. Now, if you lose, the crappy part about it is, who cares? You went to the Super Bowl and lost. So it really, there's no participation trophies for second place. There's no ribbons they give out. If you lose, you become, the Buffalo Bills aren't looked at as an unbelievable organization. They lost 4 Super Bowls. If Philly goes in, they lost 3 Super Bowls. If Washington goes in, well, they lose another Super Bowl. But if the Bills win, it kind of changes their history and their narrative. But my money's on the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to three-peat. I think they're going to do something that no other team has done. And there's really not a whole lot we can do about it. So let me go ahead and get Uncle Cheech in, because Uncle Cheech is here. And when I bring him in, make sure you guys hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. I got to thank Uncle Cheech. I doubled my money last night because Uncle Cheech. And I'm really curious to hear what his take is on these games, because I'll be honest with you, this is the the one thing these two games, like I've been so against Washington. They've proven me wrong, and I owe a guy some tickets because I was proven wrong, and I'm a man of my word. So he wants to get out to Dallas. He's going to see the Cowboys Washington game at AT&T, and that's just the way it's got to be because I was proven wrong. This Washington team, it seems like a team of destiny. And what I was getting at with Dan Quinn, it's not like he's Bill Belichick, he's this great coach, but they changed the culture. He's a good coach, but what they did in Washington with changing ownership, getting into free agents, turning over that roster, getting Jaden Daniels, it changed the culture. And that's the thing about football. People underestimate culture in football. That can change on a dime. You could see it. Watch college, watch professional, watch high school football. There's a reason why Teddy Bridgewater goes down to Miami Northwestern to win a state title his first year. There's a reason why Jason Witten goes down into high school. He wins 2 state titles back to back. You can change the culture. The culture in football means more than anything else, more than baseball, more than basketball, more than any other sport. The culture is so important in football at every level from Pop Warner up to professional. And the Cowboys culture is just a disaster. And it starts at the top. So that's where I'm saying they can bring in the retreads. They can bring in the people they're comfortable with. But nothing is going to change with the Cowboys until that culture changes. And in order for that to happen, it's got to be Jerry Jones. And it starts with him. It ends with him. And that's the sad part with Cowboys. And with Cowboys Nation, we are carrying the brunt of it. And we're going to have to deal with it. But let's just change. We're going to change things real quick. We're going to go to Uncle Cheech, and then what I want to do is I want to get back in this conversation. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, but I got to bring in Uncle Cheech, and I got to see what's doing with Uncle Cheech because he's been making some money. He's been doing good. He's been on a roll, and we got 2 big games left, and it's sad that we're seeing the end of the season for Uncle Cheech. So we only got a few more shows with him until he goes off the pasture and enjoys his off season. But Uncle Cheech, how you doing?
What's up?
What's going on? First of all, the college football playoff championship game. Give me your thoughts. I know, if my memory's right, hopefully you did have Ohio State. What is, it scared me. That last drive, man, I'm like, dude, they went for 2 and the spread was 8.5 and they were down to 8. And thankfully they had that big catch and they did the field goal, but I was sweating bullets.
I told you got to have faith in Uncle Cheech.
I got all the faith. I knew you would come.
I had Ohio State. My upset of the week I hit, which was the Redskins.
Yes. Now, let's talk about that because they went out and you had them covering, but they didn't just cover. They won. And I was just... You talk about eating crow. You talk about being wrong.
I've been here and I've been talking Washington.
I know.
I've been here and Washington don't do this.
I know.
Don't do that. But Washington's 1 game away from getting into the show.
Hey, I said, and it was on the Washington radio show, and I know they're going to play it over and over, when I said Washington fans pump the brakes on getting those Super Bowl tickets. And I mean, if they get their Super Bowl, if they get to the Super Bowl, I am going to live in infamy in D.C. area forever. I'm going to be the laughing stock, but I got to own it. I was dead wrong, man. This is a team of destiny. They got a horseshoe up their ass. I don't know what it is, but what is your thoughts on them going to Philly? Philly is the better team. Jalen Hurts a little banged up, but I mean the
better team don't know what wins.
Are playing. What do you think?
And I'm going to give you my theory on this game. What Washington, when they played Detroit, there was no defense on either side of the ball. One team went up the field, the other team went back up the field, the other team. Philly was in a fight. I mean, like you said, Hurts, he got hurt. That terrible weather, they got banged up. It was a real tough game physically. So that's why that's going to be my upset this week. I think Washington is the healthier team. The weather won't be a factor to them because they live there. But I think they're the healthier team. And I'll take Washington plus 6 points. And I think they win outright.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I might have to go redo my bet because I did bet Philly giving 6. I just think they're the better team. But the more that I'm looking at it, I'm like, God dang, man, I just don't know, man. I just losing. I keep losing. Having no faith in Washington. They keep proving me wrong. At some point, I got to ride the wave.
But I mean, let's face it, they get lucky.
They do.
Bounces off the crossbar, good. They win the game. I mean, there's just too many times. But I think they're going to go in there as the healthier team. The best team don't always win all the time either. So you saw that with Detroit. They were supposed to be the cream of the crop.
Yeah. Now, did you think, just asking you, and you guys in the chat, love your opinion too. And also, if you guys are in the chat, and I got 300 of you hanging with me, one thing you can do, which is really cool, is leave a comment in the video. It could just be, "Hey, great job." It could be asking questions. I love interacting in the chat and in the comment section, not necessarily the chat. But that's one thing. If you want to help the show, just leave a comment. Great show, because people see that. They see, "Hey, man, awesome show, great job," or, "Hey, I'd love to hear this." Any comments, any constructive criticism, you can leave that as well. But looking at the Eagles, and you talked about Barkley. I mean, what a special season he's had. What a special run he's had. But I've got to ask you this. That Rams game, if that snow didn't pick up to like heavy, so did you get the feeling the Rams were kind of getting that momentum? Do you think that weather really impacted the Rams in the end?
Yep. I talked to the Whale about that. I said, they go to Philly because they said it was going to snow in the second half. I told him, I said, I don't think he listened either. I told him, this ain't L.A. now.
Yeah.
When they get out there in that snow. They had a chance to win, but that's the way it goes. But I still think I like Washington in this game plus 6.
Yeah, no, that isn't as hard as the next game. So let's talk about the AFC. So do you think Washington is going to win outright, or do you think they're just going to keep it close? Like, if you're betting the money line, what would you do?
No, I'll take Washington 6 as long as they cover.
No, I'm saying
I think they're going to win outright.
You think they're going to win? Okay, because I'm trying to get your Super Bowl kind of matchup. So now you've got Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo has had Kansas City's number in the regular season, but Kansas City owns Buffalo in the playoffs. They're going to be in Kansas City. Very hard to bet against Mahomes. I mean, how do you see this game playing itself out?
Oh, well, everything I'm reading on social media here, all the refs are in the pockets of Kansas City.
It makes you wonder.
That's what they say. So I'll take Kansas City and I'll give them 1.5.
What did you think about that call on Mahomes with the hit where he didn't get hit?
I think people making more of it than what it is. He got hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it barely, but I just think obviously they're overprotecting some quarterbacks. But if you're, I mean, do you see any chance? Because I just don't see a snowball's hell chance of the NFC beating the AFC this year. So you're saying Kansas City three-peat?
I think so.
Which would be the first in history.
I'd put my money on that.
Okay.
I can't see Philly or Washington beating them.
Yeah, I don't either.
They win the big games.
You know what it is, and we talked about culture. And I mean, what's your thought? You've been around this game a long time. You've seen that you've been a heavy donor to the Hurricanes through the years. So you've seen when the culture's at its best. You've seen it when it's at its worst. What do you think, how important is culture in professional football?
Oh, very important. We talked about this before. I don't think you guys will ever go as long as Jerry's going to be the GM and feel that big ego of his. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care
who you bring in as coach.
Well, I mean, to me, they'd have to really, like, Jerry his ego would, and he'd have to hit rock bottom like he did with Parcells. He hit rock bottom, and that's why they got Parcells, and that lasted for a few years. But then Jerry gets back to being Jerry. So that's really the only the only way I could see anything happening. But bringing it, I mean, why would you? And I know McCarthy left on his own, but you let McCarthy walk out the door, and you're just going to hire the offensive coordinator that was under him. What kind of change are you expecting?
There is no change. That's the whole point.
It's ridiculous. It's
Control.
absolutely ridiculous.
For some reason, he's got it in his head that he's the best man out there to be a GM or whatever it is, and let the football people do the job. I'm not involved like you guys are with all this personnel business. I look at the whole team as a whole. But
you take the personal side. Now you're looking at numbers. You're looking at trends. You're looking at the analytics of it. So I get it. Let me ask you a question, because I heard, and I don't know, there's been some contract negotiations that you're kind of partnering possibly with someone else, and maybe in 2025, if we can get you back in the cave, you're going to be getting into some, not necessarily game parlays, but all of these, what do they call those kind of picks where you have the players and you have the...
I don't know. I was talking with this person, and he's been doing very well on these picks.
Because people love them. People love
gets 100 yards rushing, who scores the first touchdown. He's won 3, 4, 5 game parlays pretty consistently. And so I thought bring something new to the show and
bring some expertise.
Over and unders. He likes playing that stuff.
Yeah, I've never done it
very well. I never have in my life, but
yeah.
But he seemed successful, so I thought I'd bring it in. You know,
hey, we love some innovation. Yeah. Unlike Jerry Jones, you kind of go with the times, and these are hot times. These are people love this kind of stuff. They love betting them parlays of where they're doing the situational for the players and all that kind of stuff. So we're definitely going to bring it back, but we're going to have you on next week, of course, and we're going to get into it. But talking about the Cowboys coaching search, is there a coach out there that you would think of that you said, hey, guys, if you get this guy, I think, this could be the right hire for you, that may be outside the box or maybe in? Do you have any idea if I threw Dion, Gruden, outside the box guys, any of them? Aaron Glenn?
I don't think so. He wants someone like he can control, period.
Yeah.
That's not your problem. Your personnel is not your problem. Your coach isn't your problem. You got one stumbling block. That's your problem, and it's
a major stumbling block. It's a major stumbling block. Do you could you ever envision the time, when and I never wish this upon anyone, but when it's time for Jerry to go to the upper room, do you ever see the family ever selling the team, or do you think Steven, it's just going to continue on, or what could you?
Well,
see?
He'll wreck the team too, from what I understand about his son. So hopefully, maybe he'll get a buyer, make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah,
and he get somebody in here. He's the only owner like that. If you look at all the other organizations,
it's crazy.
He puts out. He lets the football people handle the football. He handles the business.
I mean, wouldn't it be nice? Like, wouldn't you want to, in your time, to sit back, he has the ability to hire the best people and just win wouldn't that be like kind of the best feeling in the world? I mean, I don't understand ego and stuff like that. He
wants to show he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
He was smarter than Jimmy Johnson, right? He was smarter than Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
So he brings in, what the hell is his name? The guy from Oklahoma. And,
Barry Switzer.
And it was downhill ever since.
Yeah. And I'd say this, Edgar, it's a cash cow. There's make no mistake about it. But all these teams are cash cows and they get sold. I'm just telling you, when family gets involved, usually, and Uncle Cheech, you may know this, when family and then the founder of the family passes away, sometimes the family's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this shit. I'd rather get my billions, you understand what I said? Billions of dollars, and just let someone else handle it, and I'll move on.
Yeah.
So just
absolutely. That would surprise me the least.
Yeah.
Unless the son's got a bigger ego than he does.
It looks like he might. So I'm saying it might be difficult. It might be difficult. As someone said, I may not live to see it, but you will. That's what I got to tell my son now. You know what I mean?
Well, you might have a point there. How old are you? 50, 52, 54?
Yeah, 50, 49,
Yeah.
49. I got some time.
He might live to see it.
Yeah.
You probably won't. If things
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. So
I know.
Uncle Cheech. So just to recap, Uncle Cheech is taking Washington and the points, and then laying the points, which are only 1.5 for Kansas City. So he believes Washington's going to win outright. So if you really want to increase your odds, you could bet that money line and really, throw a few bucks on there. He's feeling pretty confident in Washington going in to Philly. Now they split the series. They split it 1-1. I still think Philly's the better team, but it's been proven in the playoffs. It's been proven throughout time. The best teams sometimes don't always win. It's the best team.
No matter what's on paper, what's on the field.
Yeah.
And, I think Washington going in there the healthier team.
They are.
And they can run the ball pretty good too. I know their defense, but you still got to stop them.
Well, and Jaden Daniels is a better thrower of the football than Jalen Hurts. And the Eagles have better receivers. The Eagles have the better running back. I think Washington has the better quarterback, and I think sometimes that's the X factor that can overcome a lot of things.
Detroit, didn't they turn the ball over 3 times too?
5 times.
5 times. That's worse.
Or 4 or 5.
You're not going to win.
No. Now the Eagles aren't going to put it up enough to. I think Barkley's very secure with the football. I don't think he's going to be fumbling like crazy. But you just never know. I mean, Eagles have been pretty sound with the football. The one thing I'll give the Eagles their defense. That Jalen Carter. I mean, geez. I mean, he's had a monster year. He could be a problem. He could be a problem for this Washington team. He's been a wrecking machine. And, he fell right to Philly at 10. I mean, Jesus, talk about getting lucky. And he could have went to the Giants. There was other teams that could have taken him, and they passed up on him. I'm sure they're regretting it now because he's been elevating this game. So we'll see what happens. So, Uncle Cheech, I appreciate you stopping in the cave. I appreciate you coming in.
Guys.
We'll be back to our regular day on Monday. We're going to find out the Super Bowl. You won't do your pick, but we're going to want to pick your brain. So what we need you to do is just start really thinking about it. Your pick will come the week of the Super Bowl, but we're going to tease some stuff and give you guys things to think about. So, Uncle Cheech, we appreciate you stopping in.
All right, guys.
See you next time. All righty.
Take
care. We'll see you. All right, there's Uncle Cheech. Let's get this thing right. And always good to have Uncle Cheech in the cave. And like I said, tomorrow we will have Kelly K9 will be in the house. We will have Terrence Parsons is going to be in the house. We are going to be talking this matchup, the AFC, NFC. So if you guys are really looking to talk about that, today is probably not the best day because I'm talking Cowboys. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and I need your guys' help. So now I bring it to you guys in the chat, and this is where I need your help because when I fly solo, I don't have anyone to talk to except you guys. So I need to know what is your state of mind as a Cowboys fan? Are you kind of numb to it? Are you right at the edge of just like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to find something better to do on my Sundays? Or is anyone out there good? I'd love to hear the opposite. Is anyone happy if Schottenheimer or Kellen Moore get the job? I mean, I have yet to find somebody who would be happy that's not a fan of the opposing team. But is there any of that's positive? Now, I'll give you my 2 cents on it just to kind of get the conversation going. I'm living on the edge. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. I'll always be a Cowboys fan. That is never going to change. I've been doing this too long. I have too many memories. The Cowboys have been too impactful in my life. I've made too many friends through Cowboys. I've gotten to become friends with former players. So it's just, I love the history of the Cowboys. I love the star. I love the colors. I love coming into my cave in seeing just historic pictures that I've had throughout the years and just those great memories that I have. That's something I'll always take with me. I mean, at the end of the day, the Cowboys have been successful. It's just they're not getting over the hump, and I think a lot of us know why. And the devil's advocate of it is you could say, well, geez, Mike, you could be the Bills, you could be the Lions, you could be the Cardinals, you could be the Dolphins, who hadn't been in, they hadn't won a playoff game in 23 years. You could be the Steelers, they hadn't won a playoff game in 8 years. I mean, the Cowboys have been in the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years. They've been one of the winningest teams in the last 20 years. So it's not like this team is like cellar dwellers. I mean, this year was really injury created. But when you look at the bigger picture and of the top, I mean, that's where really the problem is there a priority in winning, or is there a priority in just being a circus? And that's where, as you get older and I become crotchety and Mr. Get Off My Grass, I'm just kidding. That's where you're like, I mean, I invest a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of passion into this. Am I getting a return on value? And that's where I got to question it as a Cowboys fan. So let's get in the chat, man. My man Kelly, I don't know if you're new to the channel. If you are, I definitely appreciate it. I don't remember you in the chat so much, but if you are, I do appreciate it. As born a Cowboys fan, I witnessed their team win 3 Super Bowls. I'm not going anywhere. So you and I got to be close to the same age bracket, because I've seen 3. Now, they've been to 4. They've won 4, but I was only like 2 years old, so that doesn't count. I won't count that one. So, Kelly, I'm like, you and I are probably on the same. Now, is the passion still there? That's the question. Is Jerry weighing on the passion that you have? That's what I'm trying to understand. How can anyone be happier with this this tire fire? No one's going to be happy. No one's going to be happy with it. No matter what, Cowboys for life. I love it. Always Dallas, DC for life. I mean, that's the way. I mean, that's the way we are. Now, Jeff, I've gotten to meet Jeff. I mean, I think him and I think Jeff, it's safe to say, we're close, and we're in that age bracket, right, together. We're close to the same age bracket. So you've seen those championships. We are well vested. But you got to wonder, this next generation, how vested are they going to be? My son's generation, when they see this, how vested are they going to be? The Cowboys are playing with fire of losing a fan base, losing a generational fan base. That's where I think they got to be concerned. Go Cowboys, go Canes. Hope Jerry makes a smart head coaching decision. You and me both. My 50th year as a Cowboys fan, seen this before. Okay, you and I are the same age. Like, have you seen it? When have you seen this before? The consistency. That's where I want to know, because you and I are the same. So you had Tom Landry, and we had some dark days in the 80s, right? We both agree. I think we all can agree on that. Then you get in Jerry. Obviously, you get Jimmy Johnson. I'll give Jerry the credit. You know, I posted this tweet of me back at Texas Stadium, and it says, Jerry, there was a time Jerry was about winning. And I will tell you guys that there was a time Jerry's priority was winning. Now, of course, he bought money, he bought the Cowboys, he bet everything he had on it, and they had to win to get the prestige back up. But there was a time he made the moves. Charles Haley signing Deion Sanders, paying Emmitt Smith, paying Troy Aikman, paying Michael Irvin, getting those guys, doing that kind of stuff. I mean, you cannot shortchange and not give Jerry his due for those Super Bowls. He deserves his share of the credit. Now, obviously, Jimmy Johnson was the architect, and that's fine. But it's still, Jimmy Johnson would say he didn't do it on his own. He still needed Jerry's support, Jerry's approval, Jerry's passion to win, to make those decisions. You got to remember, think about Charles Haley. Charles Haley was, he was kind of a little outside the box. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers traded him to the Cowboys, a young up-and-coming Cowboys team. The San Francisco 49ers were at the top. That tells you what they thought of Charles Haley. And so you got to give credit for Jerry for making that happen, and for Jimmy, all of them, to make that happen. You've got to give him credit for that. So there was a time Jerry was about winning. That changed to me, primarily in the early 2000s. So, but that's where it started. That's where I'm saying where you've seen it before. This has been a trend that's been continuing. This trend has continued for a long, long time. So my man Rick is numb. He's numb to it, not happy. Think about the Herschel Walker deal. Jerry, thank you, Jeff. You're trading your only star, the only guy on your team that the fans, cheered for. Because you got to remember, in '89, I mean, Troy Aikman, they were 0-11 with Troy Aikman. Steve Walsh won their only game, and he was 1-4 or whatever it was. They weren't a good football team. Ain't nobody. I mean, the best two players on that team was Eugene Lockhart and Herschel Walker. That was it. Those were their two guys. So we ain't got a lot of free agent decisions. I hope we can keep Osa. I'm hoping we can too. But what I need this team to be active in free agency. I need them, because culture can change in so many ways. Obviously, the coach can play a part in it. Ownership down is so important. But if you can bring in some blue collar guys, it doesn't have to be breaking the bank. When you got Kendricks, get 3 or 4 more his type. Those kind of guys that are about football, about winning, been to Super Bowls, had success, understand what it takes to win a championship. That's what you guys, that's what this team wants. Jimmy Johnson made the count. Jerry, you got to give Jerry the credit too. I mean, Carl, I don't know your age. I don't know if you're a younger guy, older. I lived in those days. Jerry Jones has got to get the credit too. Jerry, I mean, people just think he just, Jerry fell in his lap. Those guys knew each other for a long time. It's just like anything. When I start a business or when I expand into something I do, I want people around me I trust, and I want people around me that I know and I'm comfortable with. That's what Jerry did. Now, unfortunately, that has continued on, because I think what Jerry really needs to do today, he needs to change that mindset. He needs to go way outside the box. He needs to get uncomfortable. He needs to get someone that's going to shake things up a little bit, good or bad. He needs to get, and when I mean bad, it may be someone to come in and say, you know what? That guy needs to go. That guy needs to go. We need to take the cap hit, and it is what it is. And we're going to deal with some tough years, but it's going to pay off in the end. That's what I mean when I'm saying he needs to get someone who's not afraid to buck the system, that's going to tell him what needs to happen. Jerry likes to be comfortable, and that's part of his flaw. It was good in those times, but now it's become a flaw because you have to get uncomfortably comfortable. And I think that's what he needs. So, and Jimmy Johnson, without a doubt, he was one of the greatest coaches, but Jerry Jones hired him. So, I mean, Jerry Jones knew him. They played college together. I mean, there's a long history with Jerry Jones. That's why when you saw Barry Switzer was their coach. There's a long history with Barry Switzer. Dave Campo, obviously Dave Campo was on staff. The only true, really outside the box hires that they had, Chan Gailey. Chan Gailey was kind of that coordinator, that hot coordinator. Didn't really work out great for the Cowboys, but he was that Pittsburgh Steeler guy that came down. And Bill Parcells, but Bill Parcells was bringing 2 rings with him. So that kind of, that trumps a lot of things. And that's where, the Cowboys, they made some mistakes. I mean, how they didn't call some guys and try and get someone. The complacency is your worst enemy. 1,000%, PJ. I mean, that's in life. That's in business. That's in everything. And Jerry, and that's in sports, especially. So anyway, Jerry fired Jimmy, won 2 Super Bowls. Who does that? An idiot, an egomaniac. That's the problem. The ego has been Jerry's demise. The ego, the wanting to so bad be able to be accepted. That's what it is for Jerry. It's having that party, right? And our Cowboys Cave tailgate party, man. You guys been there. It's being accepted into that group. Some people just want to be accepted. And we accept everybody, whether you're a fan of the opposing team, a different team. We're about love in Cowboys. At the Cowboys Cave, we accept everyone as long as you're having a good. If your motto and your party is having a good time and being able to just either trash talk with some good humor in it and accept it dish it out and take it and just have some fun with it, you're welcome in our book. But he just wanted to be accepted into that club so bad. And I think it hurt him. Look at, we got Mark, my man, Mark. I guess I guilted him into an appearance because I said he never hangs out, and he says he's got to work and this and that, but he finds time. I love it, Mark. You're my boy. And I'm glad to see you hanging in. Accessible NFL 2 has to evolve. Absolutely. And Jerry Jones is revolving. It's a revolving door, like Jerry Jones. Think about the owners of these other teams. You don't know them. You don't know them. I know the Philly Eagle, the Philadelphia Eagles owner, only because they're in our division. So I kind of know him, but I didn't even know who the Washington owner was. And I saw him hanging out with Magic Johnson, who's a minority owner, I believe, with the Washington team. But I didn't know who that primary guy was. I couldn't tell you who the owner is of Buffalo. I know Kansas City just because it's a historic, obviously, owner. But a lot of these owners, you don't know them. You don't know the GMs. You're not supposed to. But with Jerry, it's like he's in the forefront. And as long as he does that, this is going to be the problem. And that's why I said outside the box. Now, they haven't interviewed Deion. Deion's not coming here. I think you're going to get Schottenheimer. I think you're going to get Kellen Moore. The Cowboys had no plan. I think they expected. Jerry thought he was going to be able to strong arm Mike McCarthy into staying. I thought he was going to be able to offer him some BS deal and he would take it because, McCarthy would be comfortable here and he's got the roster on. But, McCarthy didn't agree with the terms and said, you know what, I'll just move on. And I applaud anyone who has the nads and who has the belief in themselves and who has the respect in themselves to be able to make those tough decisions. Because so many times people say, you know what, I'm just going to stay with what's comfortable, what I know, and I'll just let this continue to happen. So anyway, let's see. I'll be at the tailgate, but not going into Texas Stadium. That's for sure. Well, we're trying to plan a tailgate where we may not go in. So that's why it can't be the Kansas City game, because I'm going to go into that game. The opportunity to see Patrick Mahomes play live is something that I can't pass up. So that is going to happen. So, Mark, you're welcome in fantasy football. We do our Cowboys Cave Fantasy Football League, and we had our winner, and Jeff won, and he's getting a great cut. We will be doing another fantasy football. Now you got to understand, we want to open it up to everyone. We can't have the same people in every year. So we will have a new crop come in. As it gets closer, we'll be having people say, hey, if you want to come in to be part of it, definitely be part of it. And if we've got to draw names, we will, to be fair. But don't be upset, Mark. I will, Mark, if we will have that discussion. And hopefully get you back in. So what do we got, Mike? They are the least interesting team in the division. Yeah, they are. I mean, they are from a football sense, but Mike, if you're talking about what Jerry wants, they're not. They are the most interesting team because they are not in the playoffs. They are not in the divisional round. They are not in the championship game. And Mike, that's all. You go on ESPN. Who are they talking about? So Jerry's getting what he wants. Now, I don't like that. I don't want them talking about the Cowboys. We don't deserve to be talked about, but that's what Jerry wants. I'd rather have the opposite. So Jerry's winning that part of it. My son's a Chiefs fan. Myself will be out there. Got to make a stop at the tailgate. Definitely. I don't know if we're going to be doing tailgate for that game, but we're going to be doing something because I'm sure there's going to be a group of us that are going to be going to that game. So, JR, if you are going to be out there, you stay tuned to the cave, and I would love the opportunity to meet your son, even though he's a Chiefs fan. We'll try and see if we can get him converted after that game, or at least before the game. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we're in Carolina. So all my Carolina peeps, we will be back in Carolina. So yeah. Well, that was your problem. Mark's problem was with the fantasy. I believe it just didn't take it sincerely and seriously. He drafted like Kevontae Turpin as his number one receiver and things like that. we have integrity in the cave, and we need to make sure that the fantasy team, if we're giving out trophies, we want to make sure everyone's got integrity. And I just think I just didn't see it. The Cowboys will suck. Well, maybe they will. I don't think they will. I think the Cowboys are still going to be good. I think they still will be good. They're going to be a relevant team. Now, will they be Super Bowl good? That remains to be seen in the draft and free agency. As of today, no. But you got to look at it. They won 7 games missing their starting quarterback, missing their number 1 receiver, missing their number 1 pass rusher, missing their number 2 pass rusher, missing their number 3 pass rusher, missing their number 4 pass rusher, missing their number 1 cornerback, missing their number 2 cornerback, missing their number 1 linebacker, missing their number 2 linebacker, missing their number 1 offensive lineman, missing their number 2 offensive lineman, missing their number 2 receiver, and they still managed to win 7 games. In a division, let's just be fair, that has 2 of the teams in the NFC Championship game. So I think the Cowboys are going to be fine as far as being relevant and having a winning record. But getting to that next level, that's going to take some work. That's going to take some work from a new culture that the coach can maybe bring in, or obviously free agency and the draft is going to be so critical for this team. It's going to be so critical more than ever for this team. Let's say if we get a super chat, I got to give my man Chris some love. Chris, if we have another offseason like the one we just had with Jerry sitting on his hands, I hope fans boo him out of the building I'm with you, Chris, 1,000%. And you saw you saw signs of it with training camp. And I'm just as guilty of it. I only went to 3 home games. And you got to understand, when I go to the games, these are planned out. It's not like I could just stop what I'm doing and cancel. But I held my tickets, which I won't do this year. I'm going to pick the games I'm going to, put the rest up for sale. And if I end up wanting to go a game, I'll just go buy some party passes just to be there. But I probably lost this year on the Cowboys maybe $3,000 in tickets that I waited, because obviously I thought this would be a better season. And then once the injury to Dak happened, the ticket prices went like you couldn't give them away. So I'm going to be much more disciplined with the games I go to. But I didn't want to go to games. We canceled the Giants game, canceled the Philly game, canceled the Bengals game. There was game, and more fans are going to do that, sell the tickets, but other people are going to go in there. But training camp, no one went. You can definitely see there's a lot of empty seats near the end of the season. So, the fans, this is the most intense I've seen fans kind of not ready to throw the towel in on the Cowboys, but just like, my money and my money I budget for entertainment is going to be reallocated. And I see a lot of people with that. And that's going to be the part that will hurt Jerry. So I agree. Even if it's shoddy, depending on the DC, keeping the ball on the ground with Dak at quarterback can make things work. Absolutely. They need a running game. Give Philly credit. Give Baltimore credit. Obviously, look at what the Bills did. The Bills gave up a lot of receivers, but they used Cook. People forget about Cook, and that was a difference maker for this team. I'm seeing the resurgence of the running back. Everything goes in a cycle, and I think what you're seeing with these offenses, you're seeing that cycle change. You're seeing it going back to running the football is a priority, and it has to get done. And that's why I say a lot of people are like, oh, if don't draft a running back in the first round, you get one in the 4th round. Well, who do you know you're going to get? If Genty's there and the Cowboys believe in him, don't F around with it. Get him. Just get him, because you know what you got. And the likelihood of success for a running back in the 1st round is pretty damn good lately, especially lately. A lot of people laughed at Detroit for taking Gibbs so early. They shouldn't have. They drafted too high for him. Well, He was their whole offense. I mean, he wasn't the reason they lost. That's for damn sure. But I mean, I just don't think you pass up. You just don't pass. You just don't pass it up. You said it the other night. This is the first year. It's all showing on Jerry. And for the first time, everyone's seeing it and it's being called out. I mean, it is. There's been so much heat on them. So I think the fans are at the end. Now, hopefully you don't have an end to our channel and you hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. I see 490 people in here. Stop what you're doing. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button now. Hit the thumbs up. All you got to do is hit that little thumbs up, man. It doesn't even cost you nothing. Just hit that little button and then hit the alert button so you know when we come live, because I drop videos all the time. Not only we love doing our live stuff, but I'll drop quick videos here and there just to kind of interact with you guys, and definitely do that. And then come over to YouTube and definitely hit that subscribe and be part of the family. We love new subscribers. And if you're a new subscriber in the chat, man, always give us a holler and say, man, what's up? I'm tuning in for the first time. I hate your show, love your show, whatever it is, because the chat's where it's at. The chat is usually where the fire is. And then also leave a comment after the show. Leave a comment. Hey, great job. Or, hey, what do you think about this? Because I asked you my question. Who do you want to be the coach? Put that in the comment section. Don't put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. Just one name. Who's your coach? If you guys have a coach right now, put it in the comment section and let me look at it when the show's over. Because I'd love, maybe there's a name I'm missing. I'm hearing Schottenheimer. I'm hearing Kellen Moore. I'm hearing Jason Witten as an heir apparent. I'm hearing John Gruden as an outsider. Deion Sanders as a wish. There's, I mean, it's getting to be slim pickings. It's getting to be slim pickings. So, yeah, if there's only 19 likes and I got 490 people in here, you guys have got to hit that thumbs up, man. You don't know what it does for the channel. If you guys love this channel, you support this channel, every time you hit the like button, it is like pinging that algorithm for everyone to say, man, you guys need to check out the Cowboys Cave. And that's what it does. So you're helping the channel by just doing one little thing, by hitting that like button. If you don't like us, what the hell are you doing watching it? All kidding aside. If you don't like us, leave us a comment. Let me know. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear more of? What do you want to hear less of? Am I yapping too much? But sometimes when you're on here, man, you just, I got to do it. I love talking. I better not be Kellen Moore. See, that's the one hire that, honestly, it would really give me a lot of angst. And not that I don't think Kellen Moore can be qualified. It's just the familiarity and going back to the well. The Schottenheimer one, I'm not crazy about, but that could just be, hey, just say what it is. You missed out on McCarthy. You made some mistakes. You want to keep continuity with Dak. You want to keep continuity with the offense. Schottenheimer's very well experienced. He's been a coordinator for like 14 years. He's been in Seattle. I think he's been in St. Louis. He's worked with different coaches. His father was a great head coach in his time. That one I'm not crazy about. I don't want it, but you could sell me on it to at least give it a shot. The Kellen Moore one is just like, again, nothing against Kellen Moore, but it's just, God, it's just, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it. If they bring Moore or Brian in, is what it is. But if we bring in Saleh as DC, then we're on to something. I agree. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the staff they put together. I mean, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm Dallas Cowboy for life. So I'm going to just deal with it and hope for the best. I mean, I hear so many great things about Kellen Moore and, the way he is, the way he's, studies the game, his creativity. He listens to players. He talks, he has good relationship with players, and he's been from a football, football coach family. So there's probably a lot of good things about Kellen Moore. It's just, I just need a shot. I mean, this team needs a shot in the arm. I mean, they need a wake-up call. They need something that is just going to grab some attention. So, but it'll be interesting. I mean, defensive coordinator. I mean, that's why I think Bones has moved on to Tennessee, and I don't know. Are you guys upset with that? Did that bother you? It really didn't bother me. He's a good coach. Special teams has been good, but also had some bonehead stuff too. I mean, we can look back to some of the penalties, some of the fake punts that probably they shouldn't have done, this and that. To me, all the coordinators should be gone. Al Harris, I know people love Al Harris. And it's nothing against Al Harris, but I just think you need to bring in. I think they just need some new eyes, and just a new voice, and just something different. Let the coach, whoever the coach is, let him pick the staff. Now, if they interview Al Harris, and Al Harris, he's from my town down in South Florida. So I not ran with him, but I knew Al Harris within some other friends before his name was Al Harris. It was another name. And he was a good football player to one of our rival high schools, but in next town over. So I'd be fine with it, but I want the coach to make the decision. I don't need Jerry to continue to hire the coaches. Let the head coach put his staff together the way he sees fit, and then go from there. So got to shake it up. Aaron Glenn. I mean, Aaron Glenn is outside the box. When I mean outside the box, it's not. I mean, yeah, he played with the Cowboys, but he's someone that's not on the coaching staff now. That's what I'm saying. I don't want someone who was formerly on the staff, and I don't want someone who's on the staff. I need someone outside the box. So give me someone outside the box. That's what I need. And I think if they do that, I can live with it, good or bad. If it's a good decision, if it works out or it doesn't, I can at least give them some kudos and say, you know what, you tried. You went and hired Aaron Glenn. It didn't work, in 3 or 4 years if it doesn't, and say, you know what, you made, at least you did something outside the box. To continue to bring in the Cowboy coaches that have been here, and God, you heard Jason Garrett's name again. You continue to bring these coaches in, that have been in this organization, are familiar with Jerry, been around the team. It's the same thing with Zimmer. Nothing against Zimmer, but it was that familiar. It was still familiarity, and I thought Zimmer did a great job. If Dion was hired and brought in Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator, I'd have no issues with it. If the new head coach, if Schottenheimer became the head coach and he said, you know what, I like what Zimmer did, I think he's got something going, I'd have no problem with it. I like Zimmer, me personally, but I would love just someone totally out of the box, whole new staff. And I think Glenn would bring tough. He's a Parcells guy. He was on the Cowboys. He's one of those guys that follows Parcells around. I love and he's a leader. If you listen to him, he's a leader. And I think players follow him. And I would love that. We just need Jerry to sit on his ass in the owner's box and let the coaches do their job. Couldn't say better. I wish he would. I wish he would. I don't need to hear him after the game. That's why the Dion was so intriguing, because Dion is bigger than Jerry. Like Dion in the media, everyone would be going to Dion for the comment. That's why I never thought he would, it'd be very difficult for him to come here, because then Jerry would be giving up that limelight that he has to Dion, because Dion's going to take it. No one's going to care what Jerry says. The fans ain't going to care. If Dion was here, they'd care what Dion says. So that obviously is not going to happen. Let's get some more chat in here. If Dallas stays idle and has a similar offseason the past year, they're going to be just as bad or worse. I think if they keep losing players, yeah. But I still, like I said, they're going to get a good player with the 12th pick. I mean, they're going to get, and they got the 12th pick in the second round, the 12th pick in the third round. So they're going to, if they draft right, they're going to get some guys. They're going to have some opportunity to get some guys. This draft isn't so much superstar heavy, but there's a lot of meat and potatoes in this draft. And I think there's some starters in this draft. And I think they can fill some needs. I think if you look at our offensive line, maybe I'm crazy. I like our offensive line. I really don't think you don't need an overhaul. I'd get a veteran tackle. I'd get a veteran tackle to give Steele some help. I think Guyton is going to be better in his second year. I mean, there's a lot to ask a rookie to play left tackle. I think the inner part of that line with BB Bass and Smith and then you've got Hoffman. I think they've got a lot of guys there that can do it. I think receiver is a problem. If it were me, I would get rid of every receiver except for obviously CeeDee Lamb. I think tight end, they're fine. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Schoonmaker bumps Ferguson. Ferguson was disappointing this season. I thought Schoonmaker showed something. So maybe Schoonmaker ends up being that guy, or you just have a two-headed monster tight end, which is good. Running back is critical. They got to get a frontline running back. They got to get a big dog. They got to get a lead guy. Rico, you can have him as a 2, but you got to get somebody. I think the offense could be explosive if you do that. Now that's a lot of you got to do. And I think on the defense, I think the secondary, I don't know if Diggs is going to be back. That'll be interesting. But I like Bland. I like some of those young cornerbacks that got thrown into the fire. I think you got to tweak a couple things there in the secondary, maybe one guy. I think the linebackers, obviously with Overshown being hurt, you're going to have to get a linebacker. And I think the defensive line, again, you got to re-sign Osa. I thought some of the other guys kind of Nealon started getting going. Obviously, he had an injury. Obviously, Parsons is all everything. I think they got to add a couple things. The defensive side is a little bit more concerning to me as far as adding stuff. I hope you're wrong about that. I hope it's more because that, a lot of us got excited with Jarwin and Schultz, and then Jarwin got hurt. Schultz, he was fine. Dalton Schultz was fine. You can't hate on him. But I'm hoping they're a little bit more than that. But Jarwin that first game, man, he was awesome. I think they're going to have to draft a cornerback. I think they might be able to get a free agent if Jerry's willing to spend anything. But those cornerbacks, they showed some fight. They got some they were battle tested. But I'm not overly concerned at cornerback. I'm more concerned at the line than I am at cornerback, if that makes sense, at the defensive line. The defensive line is where they're going to have to draft well and free agency. They're not going to be able to live off what they got. They're going to have to bring in some pieces. Now, you'll get some guys back, but we've been talking about Sam Williams' breakout year for 4 years now. So at some point he might be what he is. And that's just a solid, average football player. He's not gonna be a superstar. So at some point, anyway, I bet at least 4 of our free agents go to Washington. I hope not. They're taking all our guys. And the Commanders, they will have money to spend. The thing with Washington, which kind of can be is scary for Dallas, is they got their quarterback on a rookie deal. So they legit, at minimum, have 3 years. Now they can re-sign him and do an extension after his 4th year before picking up his 5th-year option. But they've got at a minimum 3 years of a rookie deal of a starting quarterback. That is gold. When you strike gold with a quarterback, it can change your franchise within that window because the starting quarterback, if they get to that contract year, we see it with Dak, you see it with the other teams, they're going to gobble up a big part of your cap. So you had better, you everything else has to be perfect. Your draft has to be perfect. The free agency, you can't miss. If you got a franchise quarterback in the draft and he's a stud right off the bat. Now, I don't want to say pump the brakes on Jaden Daniels, but let's not put him in the Hall of Fame yet. We've seen this with CJ Stroud, right? He had a great rookie year, and all of a sudden it was okay this year. Jordan Love had a great game against Dallas. Everyone had him as a top 5 quarterback. He didn't do so this year. He definitely didn't live up to hype. Trevor Lawrence, after a year, the playoffs, right? They won that playoff game and everything. So, let's see what happens. You got to do consistency over time creates greatness, right? So they've got to have that over time. So let's just see how that works. Glenn left the Jets with no see, I thought he'd go with the Jets. That's an interesting one because I thought he would. He was a long time Jet, so I thought that might be the spot. So, but anyway, but hey, 560 of you guys in the chat. Again, hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. Tomorrow, we got a great show. We got Terrence Parsons coming into the cave with Kelly Canine and I. It's going to be hot. It's going to be on fire. So you guys need to make sure you check it out. And the best way to do it, hit that subscribe button. That way you see all our shows. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that like button. It's down below. You'll see it, the little thumbs up. Hit that now. If you're on Instagram, slide over to YouTube and hit it. Hit the subscribe as well. Share it with Cowboys Nation. If you're watching on YouTube, the best thing to do is just hit retweet. Retweet this out to everybody, man. Spread the word. We are here. We're going to be talking Cowboys all off season. We're going to be bringing in some former players. We'll be doing those interviews again. Any of our new people. We got so many new people that have subscribed and definitely appreciate it. Go look at our playlist. Our playlist is an archive of all our interviews that we did with former players, former legends of the game, former legends of the Cowboys, Cowboys Hall of Famers, Cowboys Ring of Honor members, teams of our biggest rivals, from the Steelers to the Redskins to the then we get anyone from the Giants. No Giants. We got one former Eagle, but I want to get a legit Eagle in here, but they don't want to come into the cave. 49ers, all of those. Just check them out, man. They're timeless interviews. Go check it out. Eugene Lockhart is a classic one. My man, Big Nasty Kevin Gogan, is a classic one. So make sure you guys check that out. But hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. We definitely appreciate all the love. Jimmy D, my man, will be back next Monday. We'll be back at our regular time. But, hey, I didn't want to just cancel the show. The show must go on if one of us are out. I wanted to hang with you guys. So I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all the interaction. I really do. Whether you're an Eagle fan, whether you're a Cowboys fan, whether you're a Washington fan, Giants, whoever it is, I love just talking football. You guys know I love McCain's. I had to message my man George Teague tonight because my nephew comes rolling up at dinner, birthday dinner for his grandma, my mother, rolling up with an Alabama Crimson Tide sweatshirt. You want to talk about disappointing, Uncle Mike. It was disappointing. I appreciate that, Christo, man. That means a lot. Cuts means a lot. All you guys mean a lot when you guys say those things, man. And again, love hanging with you. But he disappointed me, so I got to figure that out. I already told him he's out of the will. He is no longer going to a game with me anymore, even though he's a Broncos fan. I'll never take him again after the Broncos embarrassed our Cowboys and I had to sit there and witness it with him. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Coming in, we're in Alabama. When you know I'm about the U, you're coming in with Alabama. Very disappointed. But, hey, I appreciate it, guys. Make sure you check out the channel. Also, I want to give some love to my man, Cuts by Jones. If you guys have any, you guys know my man Cuts. If you guys have any unique piece, I've got him within the cave. He does phenomenal work. Cuts by Jones, just look it up. He can create anything. He's an artist. Any picture, any team logo, anything like that. You make sure just do a quick look for Cuts by Jones. There he is right there. You see the mug. Is that not a face you could trust? That is a face you could trust that he's going to do the job. He's going to get the work done. He's going to handle that business. The only thing, we have a contractual agreement that he can't do any Philly stuff. So, Carl, you're shit out of luck. You ain't getting nothing done. But anything else he can do, we love it. We appreciate it. And he does awesome work, everyone who knows it. So make sure you check it out. I will see you tomorrow night. We got a show that's going to be on fire. Kelly K9 and I, again, we're going to have Terrence Parsons in talking Cowboys, talking playoff championship, who's going to the Super Bowl. We're going to be doing everything. So, again, appreciate all the love. We'll be seeing you tomorrow night. 571 of you guys, get your lazy ass over to YouTube and hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Now, can you dig it?
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry.